Okay, thank you. April, could you let the record show we are all present except for Michelle, and she's on vacation.
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Had a chance to look through that.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. I have nothing to add.
I'll move the approval of the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to move on to announcements and communications. Anyone have anything they'd like to? Go ahead. Okay. Well, we do have an announcement, and it's a sad announcement for all of us because we found out in our last admin meeting that our beloved Carol, that has been working with us for years, is going to retire. And so this could be her last meeting, and we're all very sad to hear that, Carol. And we've appreciated you this whole time you've been here, and I've said it many times and many times over. You were a big improvement to our township, and you always think about us all the time, and we appreciate you more than you even know. And we thank you as myself, and I'm hopefully as a board, and our community. Thanks you. And I know you're not leaving us. Your firm is still going to represent us, which we're very happy about. But we honestly want to say thank you to you, Carol. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I have so enjoyed working with all of you. But, you know, it's a hard decision to make, but I think it's the right one. We'll see how it plays out, right? I know where you are if it doesn't, so.
Well, and your name's still in the building, so,
Exactly.
I mean, you can always come back, right?
Right.
We are very appreciative, Carol, and thank you for the years of service you've given us.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to say anything?
Thanks, Carol.
Okay, none? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to call to the public. We can come up and talk about non-agenda related items. Anyone in the audience want to step up and say anything? Okay, seeing none, we're going to close call to public, move on to reports. Our first report is DDA.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi.
A couple of updates since our last meeting. We just wanted to make you aware that I've been working with our Design and Appearance Committee on coordinating some holiday displays in our downtown. So hopefully as you've been driving around, you've noticed a few of those. We want to say a special thank you to the Thomas Duke Company, Toothtown Pediatric Dentistry, and Bigby New Hudson for their sponsorships of the public parking lot decorations. We had the snowflakes and garland on the 3 decorative poles up by Grand River. And then we also want to thank Amazon for their sponsorship of the 5-foot snowflakes that are down at the 6 Points intersection down there. And then the committee themselves has been working with our DPW department, who I want to give a special thank you to for all the assistance helping. They've set up a few of our LED displays on that corner too. We're going to be doing a little shifting around, but everything's looking good so far. So thank you to all of them to make that happen this year. It was our first foray into the holiday displays, and we're very excited to expand on that each year. I had the opportunity to attend the Michigan Downtown Association annual conference in Ann Arbor last month. I have some great information that I'll be taking back to our board at the next meeting. I also had the opportunity to attend the grand opening ribbon cutting art show event of Roundabout Resale last week. We had a few of the township officials attend that, so thank you everyone who was able to stop out. I also am working with our DDA on our calendar of events for 2025. We should have that finalized next month for publication. Lots of great things are coming, some new events from our Economic Vitality Committee, so we're looking forward to that. At our DDA board meeting next week, we'll actually be meeting with POW Strategies, who did our strategic planning session, and they'll be going over all of the feedback that we received from them and presenting their results at that meeting. So if you're interested in getting more information, please attend or let me know and I can send you the information that's collected. Also wanted to say a thank you. We had over 37 volunteers that showed up to our Giving on the Grand on Saturday, right after Thanksgiving. They helped us for about 3 hours on that day in the snow and cold, setting up our holiday lighted pathway. So we had lots of high school students. Thank you to the South Lyon Community Schools for advertising that so heavily. And we did have quite a few adults and families attend. Special thank you to New Hudson United Methodist Church for providing everyone with a pancake breakfast so we could get warm and get started that day on some full stomachs. The display will be up all month of December, starting at dusk, so you can stop by there anytime and see those displays. We'll have a ribbon cutting coming up on Sunday, December 15th for Mission Church, located at 56807 Grand River Avenue. They have updated the interior of the old church there and are utilizing it. They have some actual original materials that are located in there too that were donated from the New Hudson United Methodist Church. They have been very helpful, their congregation, with a lot of our promotional events, so we'd love to show them some support if you can attend. Their ribbon cutting again will be on Sunday, December 15th at 11:45 a.m. And then lastly, as I mentioned the previous couple of months, we are gearing up for lighting up the Grand, which will be on Saturday, December 14th. We'll have events happening from 2 to 7 p.m. Wells Street will have a tubing hill. We have a vendors market, holiday market over at Dolson Elementary. We have about 27 vendors that are signed up right now. So be sure to stop by. And then a majority of the activities will be happening at Inspiration Park between 4:30 and 7. And we also do have a lot of businesses that are participating with other special events at their locations. So you can visit funonthegrand.com under events, lighting up the Grand, and you'll see the complete schedule posted on there. So thank you everyone for the participation and involvement, and we look forward to a good holiday season.
Thank you, Amy. It is looking good down there. I have to give you promise on that. It's all looking great. Thanks to the DDA, by the way. Okay, we're going to move on. Chief Madeline.
Good evening.
Evening.
Fire prevention for the month of November did 16 inspections, totaling just over 973,000 square feet. That brings us a year-to-date total of 419 inspections and just over 8.6 million square feet for the year. Our average training this month per team member was 10 hours. In addition to that, we had 4 of our department members finish their Officer 1 training class. This month, we'll be focusing on our CPR and AED refresher training. Runs this year, so far for November, we are down 37 from last year at this time. For 23, we're at 1,786 calls for service, and this year we were at 1,749 calls for service. And then I've got good news for you that we're able to see this evening. Our new Engine 2 arrived today, late this afternoon. Over this next month, crew members will get trained on it and get the truck in service. Hopefully within the month, shortly after the first year, that truck will be in service down at Station 2, serving our residents. Any questions?
Fantastic. Good truck.
Exciting.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Chief. Janet Whitfield.
Present.
Aha.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Carol, I have a package for you from that nice young lady. I'll give it to you later.
Oh, okay.
All right. First off, let's talk a little bit about our flock cameras. We're doing good. We've taken 3 stolen cars out of the township just this month. Well, since the last meeting. I'm really looking forward to getting the additional 8 cameras. We have a lot of locations picked out where I think they'll be beneficial to the township. Next up, Coats for the Cold concluded. We were able to take down 5 to 6 bags full of coats for the community. So again, I'd like to thank the members of the community for supporting our calls. We always look forward to that, and we do appreciate your support. Quick reminder about Shop with a Hero. It's going to be December 18th this year at 1 p.m. The funds are rolling in, so I'm pretty sure we're going to have a huge turnout. I don't know the amount of kids we'll be able to service. It's usually like a last-minute discussion with Doreen based on our funding, but I think we're looking good. It should be more than 100 kids this year, for sure. Next up, I'd like to remind members of the community to lock their cars and doors. This is related to one of the flock camera arrests that we had this month that resulted in a high-speed chase all around the community for about 5 hours. And it turns out the guy jumped from one stolen car to hiding in the backseat of another car of one of the residents in the community. So to avoid that and make it easier for us to catch bad guys, it'd be nice if everyone locked their car doors. And we did get a lot of good tips that led us to catching this guy. And ultimately it worked out with the support of the communities. But lock your doors. With that being said, I think I'm all done. Does anyone have any questions for me? Perfect. All right, I'm gonna go back. See you later, Carol.
Thanks, Lieutenant. All right, move on to the Planning Commission. Got anything going on?
I do. We only had one meeting, and actually it's on our agenda tonight. That was the Beast Wash Special Land Use and the Site Plan Review. And actually, that meeting was Tuesday, November 12th. And they did recommend the special land use, but there was a few things on the site plan that they still want to just get a few answers to. One was like the dumpster location, but they were all in favor of absolutely the special land use and I believe the site plan review too. But there were just a couple things that they needed to tweak. So that's on our agenda for tonight, and that was it. That was our only business for that night. Does anybody have any questions? I'd be happy to answer. Okay.
Thank you, Patty.
Yep.
ZBA?
Nope.
Nope. Makes it fast. All right, Building Department, Jay?
Yes, just give you a couple stats. For October, the Building Department issued 68 new permits, which was down from 90 the previous year, for totaling about $14.7 million in improvements to the township. We have gone through with Design USA. I did a walkthrough with the fire department to issue them a temporary C of O. They designed the assembly line for the big three. It's really, I found it pretty amazing. I think Chief did too, what they do in there. It's kind of weird. It's a huge building and there's only like 2 people in it because it's all automated. But if you ever get a chance to go through there, I'm sure they would love to give you guys a chance to go and take a look. The SPMP building, we're doing the final walkthrough on that this Friday. The library site has submitted their plans for their construction trailer, fencing, which you'll see getting started here very shortly. So I know that's something that you'd like to know about. And we will be doing some interviews next Monday to fill your building official full-time role. So Patty, John, Michelle, and myself will be interviewing some candidates that submitted their resumes. So we'll let you know how it goes from there.
That's great. I just want to make a mention. So Holly sent out on Saturday for the groundbreaking for the library, and mine went into my junk, so I didn't see it. John's also went to his junk, so just, you
I
might,
didn't get it either.
you just might want
look
to
into
check
it.
in your junk folder, because just so that everybody is aware of it, because just FYI, so.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. Water situation, the good thing is they're gonna start taking trees down this week and they're gonna move in the equipment for the footings next week. So hopefully we'll get that secondary softening plant up and running maybe by midsummer. We're hoping. Okay, anything else? Anybody got any questions on that? Okay, then we're gonna close the reports and we're gonna move on to our public hearing. By law, we have to run a public hearing for our budget, our 2025 budget, where you can come up and ask questions about the budget if you have anything you want to ask about. So I want to go ahead and open that public hearing at 6:14 and ask anyone to come on up. If you have any questions about the budgeting process we have or anything you want to know about it. Okay, seeing no one stepping up, we're going to close the public hearing at 6:14 and move on. We have some unfinished business here. The first one is to consider the approval of the preserves at Davis Creek, formerly known as Chickerell Lion, final PD, and to authorize the signature of the PD agreement by the supervisor and the clerk.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, our next two are the amendments, a second reading of the amendments, and the first one is the tree protection amendment, the replacement of relocation requirements, This is a second reading. I don't believe anything has changed. Nothing changed, Brian? Okay, nothing's changed. Anyone want to make that motion?
I'll move the adoption of ordinance number 11-24.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and our next second reading is to consider the approval to amend the Township Lion Code of Ordinances for buildings and building regulations. This is the second, I don't believe anything's changed on this one either, Brian?
Correct.
Okay, nothing? Carol? Okay. Anyone have any questions about that one? Okay, motion be in order.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 12-24 as presented. Second reading.
Okay,
I'll support.
motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that concludes our unfinished business. We're going to move on to new business. Our first item of new business is consider approval of Beast Wash Special Land Use, AP 23-38B. Brian?
Thank you, John. For discussion this evening, Patty mentioned that the Planning Commission has reviewed and held the public hearing for a car wash facility in the outlot in front of Kroger at the corner of 8 Mile and Pontiac Trails. So it's the parcel out here that's been vacant for quite some time. There will be some tweaks to the site plan, as Patty noted, some dumpster enclosure and some circulation items that are going to be cleaned up and represented to the Planning Commission in terms of the site plan. But the special land use itself was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission. We heard no, that's not true. We had one resident with some concern about traffic volumes, but in our opinion, 8 Mile and Pontiac Trail are well suited to handle additional traffic for a use like this. You have my review for, in terms of special land use standards in the ordinance, and don't find any major concerns. We did meet on some of the traffic questions and concerns that I had regarding the cut through between the Kroger parking lot and Pontiac Trail. But the road commission was comfortable with changing that to a right turn out only entrance point to Pontiac Trail. So that should resolve some of those traffic concerns. So aside from that, you have our recommendation to approve the special land use. The only condition that I would recommend you place on that is approval of the site plan by the Planning Commission.
Okay. Thanks,
Brian, quick question. You said the Pontiac Trail entrance would be right in, right out only?
Right out only.
Right
It would
out
still
only.
be left in.
Left in.
and
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thanks.
Okay, Leslie, you have anything you want to add?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to reference our November 25th special land use letter in your packet. And we're just recommending the following conditions for the special land use: that the property owner is permitted to discharge bathroom waste only to the publicly owned sanitary sewer, and that the property owner or subsequent owners are not permitted to discharge car wash waste to the sanitary sewer or to the storm sewer, and they are required to have a reclaim system that is occasionally removed by pump and haul, and that's what's shown on their plans. And then item 3, the applicant is required to meet the local limits in the township utility ordinance and is prohibited from using the 7 regulated PFAS chemicals. And they have acknowledged that at the Planning Commission that they do not use any of those chemicals, but would recommend that these be the conditions of special land use.
Okay. Thanks. Does anybody have any questions for Leslie or Brian? Okay. Are the applicants here? Okay. Do you have any questions for the applicants? Does anyone here have any?
No.
Okay, well, we may be okay here, so it's always good to ask them. Okay. Well, if anybody would like to make a motion, or if they want to discuss something.
I'll make a motion that we approve AP 23-38B, subject to Planning Commission approval of the site plan and also subject to the comments in the CES and the McKenna letters.
I'll support that.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You're gonna be happy with that.
All right.
Happy.
All right.
Were you here
next-
for the car wash?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you waited outside to get into the building with the locked door longer than you waited to get an approval tonight. All right.
You could have washed the car while you were waiting.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to move on to the approval of the supervisor appointment matrix to the Board of Review. And, you know, I didn't give you a lot of documentation because I'll tell you, the Board of Review is a tough board. It meets twice a year, and it's very, very long, and these guys do a wonderful job. And I would like to appoint them all back for another year. And I don't know if anybody'd have a problem with that, but I'd like to make a motion to reappoint the entire Board of Review.
Support.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I'd like to do the same thing on the zoning board, because again, as we know, Lisa, it's kind of tough. They don't meet a lot. And to have everyone that's willing to stay involved, I just appreciate that.
Well, I know for sure the benefit is so many people who have been here on that board, who have been here for so many years. They know every lot, every square foot of every unique circumstance, and it's really helpful.
Which is really a good thing. I agree with that. And, you know, again, they all want to continue to serve, and these are one-year appointments because by law, we have to reappoint them every year. So I'd like to reappoint the entire board again.
Although,
For the
John,
next
I
year.
do have a question about
Sure.
Jim Chuck,
I'm sorry?
about Jim Chuck, because he's our
He's a liaison. Yeah,
from the planning commission.
yeah, and they make that appointment from the planning commission. They'll
Right,
make,
but
they'll decide who the,
I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong paper, never mind.
oh,
Never mind.
they'll decide who they want to be
Yep.
the liaison and what.
John, we're actually on DDA first. In the
What's
order.
that?
DDA is supposed to go first, right?
Oh, did I pass that one? Okay.
You get excited.
Not that it matters, because I think it's the same thing, right? We're reappointing.
Well, there's two on the DDA. There's two that are up. That's Paula Ruffin and Carissa Canfield. And them two, we'd just like to reappoint for 4 years. Their term's up. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. So if you want to do that one first, that'd be great.
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the DDA appointments.
Support.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we'll do the zoning board. And again, I'd like to reappoint the entire board. So I'd make a motion to do that.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving right along. Our next one is a resolution to reduce the speed limits on a portion of gravel road on 9 Mile Road to 45, and we missed this one. When we did all the other gravel roads, for some reason, we missed this one, and it became a situation now that they're getting homes built on 9 Mile, and they asked to redo this. So I called Oakland County, and they said if we do this resolution, they'll take care of it. So if anybody'd like to make a motion to do that, to lower that speed limit on 9 Mile Road, we'll get her done.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-32.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now we're going to move on to the consideration approval of resolution regarding political material on township property and providing penalties for violations. Again, we had a little conversation about this. I think
Yeah,
you
we
fixed
just-
it, didn't you?
We discussed this at the last meeting, and I took notes, and I think I've captured in this what the board was talking about in terms of some time that signs would be permitted.
My only thing I've been thinking about on this is, should we include some sort of buffer, like a 24-hour period before and after for placement and removal? So that we're not or are we expecting people to, that was one piece, and the other piece is there's a gap day or two usually between early voting and election day. And I don't know if we want to account for that here, or if we're saying that we're expecting people to pull them out of the ground for 2 days and then put them back. Or if I'm being too picky about the literal wording here, but.
Oh, you're not being too picky. 'Cause I too have the same worry, because technically, somebody would be in violation after early voting is over, before election day, and then, I think it is reasonable, although I think all four of us had ours taken out the night of the election. I think it's reasonable to say perhaps 24 hours after the election, that they would have to be removed.
So 24 hours before early voting.
That's I was gonna say,
24 hours after election day.
something a lot like
That way it's,
a period of time beginning 24 hours before early voting and ending 24 hours after election day or voting closes, or whatever wording would want to be used there. But
It's totally up to you.
How's that?
That'd be right.
those amendments.
That sounds good to
I mean,
me.
does that
Sounds good.
Yeah.
does that
I
work?
think it's good.
We were
So-
broadening out.
So rather than hours, why don't we reference it in?
If you wanna
terms
do
of day
whole
before-
calendar days, that's fine
Day before
too.
early
Okay.
voting and
Yeah.
the following day after election,
Yeah.
something like that,
Well,
okay.
that's good.
That works.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good.
can we pass this with that amendment?
Yeah, I'll make a change and send it over for signature, but that's fine.
Okay, I like it. Somebody want to make that motion?
No? Okay. All right. I'll move the adoption of resolution 2024-33 with the changes to include the range of the day before until the day after voting.
Support.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're gonna move on. Resolution for ARPA fund disbursements. Patty, you wanna explain
Yeah.
that? I mean,
We've been working on spending that ARPA money, and Chris asked for just a recap, which I had no problem with. From the last report I did, we just had the fire department sign. So the resolution absolutely matches our leftover funds, which we couldn't get the Hawk signal done in the proper time that it was required. So we're gonna use it for our lost funds for payroll, so, which we're eligible to do. So we'll just be replacing the general fund with that.
Is the date range there, was that calculated to be when we expect those payroll costs, or is that just the total period of eligible
Total
expenditures?
period of
that-
eligible, yeah, so, yep.
I assume we'll hit it, well, we've hit it on a much shorter time period than
Right.
that. So
Yep.
it's not, all right.
So I just need this, so we're in compliance with the resolution.
okay, somebody wanna make that motion?
I'll make a motion to move resolution number 2024-34 for ARPA funds disbursements.
Support.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the 2024 budget amendments, and the only reason we have an amendment at all is because of the way these programs bill us. And they don't bill us every year, and so when we finally pay them, we go over our budget because we've paid for all the stuff in the rear. And that's the only reason that we're here with this amendment, period.
And John, two budget amendments for an entire year for all the things that we do, I mean, that's pretty darn good.
And you know, this wasn't even our fault. This was because they weren't billing us. And so
Yeah.
they missed it, and then they billed us all at once.
Right, right.
Is this also the shuffling of where we were arranging the CDBG
Yeah.
funds, or is that just next year?
No, that's what it is.
It was
Okay.
previous as well.
So I mean, that's literally the only amendments we have. So I think it's a pretty good deal, so. Somebody wanna make a
I'll move the approval of the 2024 general fund budget amendments as
Support.
presented.
Lisa supported?
Yes.
Okay. Motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're gonna move on to our final order of business, which is to consider the approval of the 2025 budget, which, by the way, is a very healthy one, and I think everyone has done an amazing job on this thing. I did wanna talk about a couple quick things before we do that. And in the water and the sewer fund, the only thing that I'd like to talk about a little bit is the capital improvements, okay? And if you noticed, in the sewer, let's see what I got here. The sewer fund, I put $6 million in the capital improvements, okay? The $6 million is basically for the fourth SBR, we have an SBR sitting there that we've been trying to complete for as long as I've been here. And because we have a pretty decent general fund, I'd like to complete that this year. I'd like to get some bids on that, and I know it's gonna be probably 5 million, maybe more.
Probably.
So we put in a little buffer in there, and really like to get that completed this year, and that's why I put that in there.
That's the final SBR, then,
Yes.
isn't it?
And I also, we are almost done with generations too, generators on our lift stations.
Yeah.
And there's a few generators in there also, but we also, I'll bring them back to, we get bids for them and they're fairly inexpensive, but this SBR is gonna be expensive.
Is that a 500,000 gallon SBR? Aren't they in, like,
I think that's the rating to add this one, but as far as whether it would be your final one, it's gonna depend on what Eagle rates at later after you have flow.
Okay.
But there's also a pump station upgrade, there's some, infrastructure at the west bed, so we're working with process results, and it's a pretty big package. Cause you have to update your blower rooms, so it's one thing,
Right.
it has to be built to service this, so. But it should raise the firm rated capacity of the plant. I don't wanna say the number, cause I might get it wrong. I'll follow up and tell you,
okay.
okay?
But didn't
I
they
don't
say
wanna
that
put
the Aqua rates them at 750,000, but Eagle will only give us 500?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I thought it was some
Yes.
ridiculous
Yeah.
buffer that is obscenely
It is.
conservative,
So we're
and it just
hoping that at
costs
some
everybody
point
more money.
We have some,
Right.
And back in the day, they
Staff it.
built they built the tank, but they didn't plumb it, they didn't do anything else. We just have a cement tank.
right,
So that's why it's so expensive. But I just want to let you know, that's why I put that money in there. And then on the water, you'll notice I put 5 million in the capital improvements. We have a water tower to build, and we are under water on the water tower by what we got. So this is a little bit extra, but I also put that money in there. If we needed to loop some lines here and there, we have some flexibility to do that. And that's the only thing added to the entire budget. So, well, the budget's here for your approval. If there's any questions anybody has on it, we're here to answer them, and it's a great budget, we're in great shape. Yeah, come on up. Come on up.
Hi, Tom.
How are you doing?
you all to
Good.
take a breath in your important decisions, I know.
Yeah,
So I'm just interested in some things pertaining to the expenditures in the township. I'm Tom Duncan.
yep.
I
Please,
have
your name and
businesses on
address,
Griswold
please.
Road,
Your
Uh,
address?
23333, keep going with the three, no, 2 and then 4 3s, Griswold Road.
Okay.
And I'm curious, just one very bold item is the assistant that I see is added, like $78,000 assistant for the elected, right under a deputy assistant, I guess it's called.
Yeah,
Who is
John.
that? And
Well, we haven't had one yet, but
Are you talking about my assistant, a deputy for myself?
I don't know, it was someone that wasn't there last year and is there now, or is going to be.
It's been 2 years, I believe. We put that in 2 years ago. Basically, what is it, how is that? It's 10%, or what is there's a formula for that deputy?
well, it's the same,
85.
yeah, it's
I think we're in
85% of the
it's
salary
the same.
for a deputy.
So,
Is that person alive today? And-
no, we don't have one yet, but, so we're governed by the Little Red Book, the laws, and in township government, the clerk and the treasurer are required by law to have deputies. The supervisor's job is not required, that's if he wants help or he needs help, but we could come and go tomorrow, something could happen, John could get.
Hey now.
We can win the lottery. Win the lottery. and go
Hey now, let's not talk like
It's
that.
nice knowing you.
And then maybe the new supervisor, if there were a
Okay.
new supervisor, they might,
Yeah, my
they
only
might
question
want
is,
that position.
it wasn't there and now it is.
But
or it's
if you
planned
look, Tom,
as a
if you look, it's
cable.
zero.
Yeah,
It's
a
zero. We've never
placeholder.
played it out. We've never paid
And
it
I was
out.
just wondering why it's appearing,
Yeah.
but it's something that hasn't been forwarded yet.
Yeah.
And it isn't planned, or it's in the budget, so it's
It's in the
it's
budget.
planned,
but
and you
it's
could do it
been in
any
the budget.
moment
I
if
could
you
get a deputy if I needed one, but
and I was just curious
the
of
whole
what that
township
position
helps
was.
me, so.
Okay,
He's saving us money.
pardon me?
He's saving us money.
Oh, well, yes, Yeah, you got a big budget. Another thing is there any document that you could pass out or maybe is available for people to review where it shows plus and minus from previous years and the explanation as to why it is plus or minus?
I think we have the 23 to 24 to 25 on the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So it does tell you like what it's changed and how much it's went up or down.
Yeah, but it doesn't say why. I mean, for someone who isn't attending the meeting.
And most of it's just inflationary. I mean, a lot of our budget stays pretty close to the exact same every year. I mean, it doesn't fluctuate.
Utilities,
Yeah.
salaries, benefits.
You know, some of
Well, I'm just
the-
saying if that could be an improvement for the public to
Yeah.
actually handle it. First time I ever requested it, and it said in the newspaper I could request a budget at the office, and
We have no
there
problem.
was,
This is
there's
all
copies
open.
available, so I thought I'd drop by for
Sure.
a copy. There wasn't any copy available, but they made me one up.
Yeah.
So I was able to do this, but I think that would be very useful for residents, property owners
Sure.
in this.
And we're very
township.
wide open here. We'll tell you
Yeah,
whatever
come
you
to-
want us.
Tom, you
Yeah, I
can
know, but
talk
I
to me
don't
anytime.
want to have to come to a meeting, I'm sorry.
You could just
Just
come to
ask
me.
those
Come on,
questions.
man. It's so much fun.
I know, I've had a lot of meetings I've had fun at, but others not. But thanks for your time, and I was just
No, thank
wondering
you.
those two
No, I
things.
appreciate
And I
it.
should have spoken up, I suppose, at the previous
It's okay.
item, but I didn't. really.
Anything on the agenda, you can talk.
Yeah, or call me, or come see
Thanks.
me.
Okay,
I
I'll
can
come to see
explain-
you.
Yeah, come see me and I'll explain anything you want. You know,
Okay.
I'll have all those budgets. It'll be fun, we can catch up.
Okay, well, thank you. Anyone want to make a motion to approve the budget or any
I
questions?
do have
or-
some on the
Okay,
water and
please.
sewer stuff
Yep,
at least
please.
to start, because this is, there's the plant operator, the first one of the expenditures there.
Yep.
So are we not doing the personnel raise for that?
Well, I think we,
Wait,
Or is it,
That's the
because that's not hired yet?
Right,
He's not
that's
hired yet, no.
Okay, so that's staying.
That's just like also
Oh.
like John's, yes, we do plan on hiring someone this year.
and
Okay.
and we have them split between the two also.
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
that on both.
Yeah.
And then, so, I guess on the pension, FICA, Medicare, retirement stuff, that looks like it should be 3%, not 2%. With
Mm,
everything else, don't we raise on all the other budgets, we have those at 3%.
Yeah, it could-
Budgeting.
It does look like they didn't move on.
She might
on
have, she
sewer,
might have missed that column.
At least,
She
as
didn't.
I'm looking at
She
it now.
didn't. All right, we'll get that corrected.
Yeah, add 3 to that.
And then on the office expense and postage, those are pretty big numbers. Are we looking to make those the same as the water department? Or
Office expense.
that's 727,000 and 001.
Yeah, I think that was on, the office expense, I believe, was on the servers. They had to redo all the servers at the water plant. I think that was the sewer plant they had to do this year, yeah.
So they haven't done the sewer plant?
No,
Not yet.
Okay.
but these servers, they go out of whack. I mean, they constantly
Yeah, it
upgrade
was, it
and
was-
they're so expensive.
Ours is a mess too.
And then we have a few blank ones too at the end, the depreciation, construction, and the bond numbers. So are those just supposed to be carried over?
Oh, yeah, that does have to get carried over. But I think that probably changes a little bit.
I had that all in there.
She just reprinted these.
Yeah, just like today, like.
But that 185,
Yeah.
These were all blank.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I gave all that, so.
yeah.
No depreciation.
And that bond payment,
Construction.
that goes up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, Chris, can I have this so I can fix
Yeah.
this? Do you mind?
Yeah, no, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Because it's the same on the water
It
too.
is,
With the
yeah.
bond payments.
Yeah,
And the
we'll get
same
that.
2% versus
Yeah,
3%.
I'm gonna do that. Can I have that one too, if you don't mind, if you're done talking about it? So I can get those fixed. Thanks, Chris.
Oh, and do you want to talk about the tower
Sure.
service charge it's in the revenues too?
Oh, you're talking
Uh,
about the.
For the water.
Yeah, that's,
That's,
isn't that our
Patty does all the revenues.
the
Oh,
tower
yeah.
service charge? That's from Milford.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to toot your own horn.
Wow.
That's a bad subject
I,
matter.
I, no, I just, it's, I've done very well in the interest department. So, but you will see the final when the audit comes out. But I think I made over $2 million in interest this year across every account in the township. It's a lot. Done very well. Very happy that I could do that for the community. So, I did.
Well, the good thing is all our budgets are very healthy, which is a good thing.
Well, I do have another comment on the police budget.
There's trouble.
Well, I don't think you're personally in trouble,
He's
but
gonna arrest you.
You really want to talk about that? I mean,
no, and I know, John, you're aware too, but the county
Oh, yeah.
put
It's in
through
here.
quite a big increase.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's
it's in here.
over $1 million.
No,
Yep, oh yeah, we know.
ours was 500 and something, but it's in here. If
Tell
you
them
look.
what you did. You went to the.
Oh, yeah, I was down there fighting that
Okay.
whole thing. But if you look in here, you see how it's changed, how much it's went up in there? That reflects about 15%.
Mhm.
But you're right, and then we just got the rest of it
Skin
today,
today.
just today,
Yeah, so
where they've
definitely need-
calculated it all out.
We'll definitely need to talk about strategy moving forward.
Yeah.
So this all happened after we passed the
Yes.
village.
Oh, yeah.
So
It did.
it came to a pretty big surprise to everybody here, and it was frustrating, but luckily we've been really good with the fund, so I think we're okay.
So is the 5.153, is that the right number?
That's the right number. Yep. Yeah, we went through that. That's the right number for this year.
Okay,
Next year, no, be much different.
okay.
So then they now actually separate out the SROs.
They did,
in the
they raised the
contract.
price, and they separated them. They have multiple tiers of charging options for the SROs, with a car, without a car. It's gonna definitely be a dynamic situation. Like, they sent out the contracts probably an hour and a half ago, maybe. So we'll still need to talk about
How do
what,
the SRO rates in this new contract relate to what we've got in our existing contract with the school?
existing, the SROs were billed as detectives, so it was 157. When they separated them, they're going up to 187 from 2014 to 2015. I've already spoken to Mr. Archibald and told him that the township is going to need to restructure the way we charge them, because we run from June 30th to June 30th. So I told him after we're out of contract in June, we can only go up until December. But that's even assuming that he can come up with the money to finagle 3 more SROs. Honestly, it's going to be a challenging situation moving forward to even keep 3 SROs. Because by the end of 2027, there'll be $222,000
Yeah.
each. So that's like $65,000 each SRO. So there's $195,000 over 3 years just to keep the same level of staffing, just for the schools.
And do we, if those officers are at a different rate, then would we be billed that whole rate presumably for the entire year, even when we're not using them as SROs? Sorry, if we're getting off track here, we can talk about it later.
They
but-
come back here,
Yeah.
you're on patrol.
Right, but I guess at that point though, would we still be paying them at the SRO rate, or would we be paying them back at the Deputy 2 rate?
At the SRO rate, because they come with the cars. So it's going to be, like I said, we'll need to restructure what we have and decide if we can even move forward with the SROs. But they gave us like, what, 10 days or?
Yeah, December
Yeah.
12th, they want it
12th, yeah.
signed by December 12th.
I thought it said December 9th, but whatever.
Yeah, I think it was the
Yeah,
12th.
can you wait any longer?
So,
Which, honestly, we can't even approve that contract till the January meeting,
absolutely.
because I started to review it, but
Well-
it's not on the board agenda tonight.
Well,
We just got it today.
Yeah, we'll have to do the best that we can do and to structure ourselves and decide if we can move forward. What does that look like? We may just have to take the SROs off completely, because I spoke to John, and I still need to go through the contract, but if they want us to lock into a 3-year agreement with the SROs,
It's like 2 years.
2 years, so, I mean, we can't even commit to that.
Check it again, but that's, I think it was a 2-year contract this time.
Yeah, we don't even know if the school can pay for that, so how can we do that moving
I
forward?
know.
It's a mess. I spent the whole day down there with other supervisors trying to fight it, and they didn't want to even listen to us.
John, I appreciate that you went down there because that's really,
Me too.
shows the commitment that you have on behalf of our whole township to have that level of service and to have an increase like that after communities have approved their millages for a certain amount. And I feel like maybe it's not the right phrase, but it's like a bait and switch almost, like
Do you know what,
I
Lisa?
think it's
Lisa, they
it's
did not
irresponsible.
care. They
No, they
did
don't.
not care. They didn't care what any of us said. We pleaded, look, give us some time. We just passed millages. We just passed them in August.
Right.
They didn't raise it till after their election was over,
Yes,
which was very strange.
weird. Interesting.
Well, what's interesting, I mean, when you're dealing with the county on any of these contracts, it's a take it or leave it situation. So unfortunately, you've had this arrangement going for years, and when they all of a sudden decide to make a material change to that arrangement, they sort of have you. So it is very disheartening.
Lake Orion stood up there and said that they had contracted the Oakland County Sheriff for 70 years. 70 years. And now they never had this happen before.
Right.
In 1 year, they just blow the whole partnership apart, which is,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate,
It
but
is, extremely.
we'll get through it. Luckily, like you say, we've been very conservative in how we dealt with everything, and, I think we're gonna be okay, but you're right. In 3 years, it's $1.5 million
Yeah.
in 3 years.
I hope that residents understand that this is nothing to do with what we have worked for. I mean, we work diligently on the village language, and this is squarely on the level of, at the level of the county, and it's, well, I
You're
don't wanna
right.
sound too much like a mom, but it's shameful that they had done that.
All we listened to the whole day was the cost is the cost. That's all they say. You're gonna pay it. And they voted on it. They didn't even have the language. We went in the caucus and tried to fight it in the caucus. They didn't even have the language. They caucused for about 2.5 hours, and then they went and wrote it. Then they went out and they voted on it. 2 hours.
So they wrote it and rewrote it, right? Because it was.
They kept rewriting. We did everything we could, but they don't want to listen.
So with our deputy twos,
Yes.
are those, so there was a new category there, which categories because that's the majority of the force that we
So-
have, are the deputy twos, are they the no-filled shared vehicle, are they dedicated vehicles, or is it now a split?
18 of them are Deputy 2s, no-fill shared vehicle. We have one Deputy 2, no-fill, no vehicle. That would be Deputy Selnick on the desk.
And that's something, this is not really to discuss, but glancing at it tonight, that's a question I have for you with the no-fill position, because the way the contract's written, it could be that we're paying and we lose a person.
Oh, yeah.
And they're under no obligation to give us another person. So we have a lot to talk
Yes.
about once I get through it all.
Well, then of the 18, 3 were the SRO, and those now get brought into their own.
So the SROs were
Category?
under the patrol investigator category previously.
Okay.
So now they have their own category for SROs. That's actually more than the investigators with the unmarked car.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, but I've had many discussions with them about the fill versus no fill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I do it
did not
anyways.
like that.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I just do it anyways.
So Carol, if they're asking for these contracts to be signed,
They're not going to be.
okay,
I
that's
mean, honestly, when did you send it over? I mean, I started getting
Today,
through
when
it,
I
but
sent it to you.
I had
Yeah.
a huge list of all these issues I had.
We
Which
just
God
got
hit
it.
the wrong button and deleted it by mistake, but I remember in my head, I just gotta redo it tomorrow, but yeah, there's a lot of questions I had, and obviously it has to be formally approved by the board. This is a 2-year contract, so it's not gonna be done by the date they've decided to arbitrarily give us,
okay.
so.
I think it is a 3-year.
Isn't, I thought it said
2027.
2-year at the beginning,
I think
back, and,
it's
because I
25,
asked you,
26,
I said, do
27.
we
Yeah, it's-
usually
it's
do a
3.
2-year?
It's
3
3
years.
Is it?
Three.
Okay.
Well, because even in 26 and 27, it goes up 8.1%.
Yeah, they go.
This year, it's the 17,
15,
9 to 18%, depending on the category.
Because they went cost of living plus 6. And then we
Right.
kept asking them, you had a CPI plus 2,
Right.
and then 1 week you went to 6. Well, that's the cost of the cost. That's what they said.
But they'll
And
send
they
the
did
money
that for
back.
2 straight
We discussed
years.
this with the other county, recent county contracts that have come through, that now these costs include, you know, every cost of the board, members of the Board of Commissioners and things like that, that, you know, I question whether they should be run through contracts like this, but, you know, that's what we've got going on right now. Basically, the county's not paying for anything, everybody else is paying for everything at the county, when you look at it. I can say this is my last meeting.
I asked him, I said, are you guys hurting for money? I mean, is your budget
No.
slim? He
They
said
add to their
300
fund-
million.
They add to their fund balance every year. It's the first thing I look at when we get their audit. First thing, I always go right there, I wanna see if they took any money out of their fund balance, they've always added it. They have a lot,
300 million, he told me.
Yeah.
they have a lot of money, they have a lot of money. We've made them a lot of money, lying.
Any other questions, Chris? You got more?
Well, that was all for police, I guess. I just wanted to vent a
Okay.
little.
Yeah. So we can talk about it later too.
We did cover it for this year, though, in this budget.
The other stuff is pretty quick. The building fund also had that 2% versus 3% FICA thing. And then I think, Leslie, you had asked in the building fund to increase the engineering line item to 60,000 because of the grading plan reviews.
And miscellaneous things that come up. Sometimes they're plot
Right.
plans, sometimes it's complaints,
Yeah.
drainage complaints, concrete complaints, for example, things like that.
What's that?
We don't have the fire contract yet, right? So
No.
that's still just a placeholder.
We're not even, we just started that too.
Okay,
just-
so is
just
that gonna be
started.
like a budget amendment, or we think if it comes in?
We put in what Reggie
Okay,
told us to put in, so he did
It's
that
already as well.
calculation. But
Yeah.
no, that's fine.
Say, no, we're actively working on it. We're trying to get meetings scheduled up, but we just started getting in because we were waiting for the budget to see where the numbers came in so we could start negotiating the economics portion of their contract. So we're still in the negotiation aspect of that. And I anticipate, when we're coming up on the holidays here, I don't think a ton is going to happen between now and January 1st. So I would anticipate that there's going to be some sort of budget amendment shortly after the first of the year, hopefully. Cross our fingers that we can come to an agreement before that. Well, we'll see. But yeah, I anticipate a budget amendment here in the first of the year.
Okay. On the DDA one, I may have forgotten when we talked at the budget meeting, but there was the light poles at South Line East that we were putting there. Did we end up with a actual amount for that, or is that still being?
Well, it was 15,000, it was right around 14,000 something.
Okay.
We paid that and the school paid us for half.
Okay.
They paid like 7,400, whatever, it was really close to that.
That wasn't DDA though.
No, that's not in the DDA,
That's not
that was
DDA.
general, no. The DDA is redoing their like.
So maybe
Yeah, that was
that's-
this fiscal year.
Yes,
So, okay, that might be the one I'm thinking of then.
yeah,
So the DDA one was there.
theirs was like
The
200,000.
Okay. Oh, the light poles, what, okay, that's my notes there. Alright. And then the general fund I think we had increased the, if, in the event that we decide to hire a planner, I think that was being increased to a 90,000. I'll let Sean know.
Was that,
Okay, I'll
is
check
that the number we left that at?
I thought it was 90. And under streets, the dust control, just John, we had discussed this too, and looks like it's been added, but additional dust control.
He's gotta,
Well,
the
we
county's
can.
gotta approve it.
Okay, but it's in there if the
Yes,
county approves it?
that's right.
Okay, because that's good. And then, just general lawn mowing, we had, I think, 0 in a couple spots for Township Hall and the Community Center. Are we,
Cause we have our own,
We do that
so
in-house.
that's why it's 0?
Yeah.
yep, no more, yep.
Okay. And my last one, and Patty, correct me if I was wrong on this one, the other functions, the sidewalks.
Yes.
We have that in as 20,000. I thought we had said it was supposed to be 200,000 in the event for new.
No, I think, don't have that in a different one.
I think that's in a different spot.
Okay.
Let's see, I think we have that somewhere.
That's for, we put that in for the repairs and maintenance.
The okay, so that one, the 20,000 is the repairs for trippers and stuff like that?
No,
or-
no.
Yeah,
it's
it's after the
2,000.
inspections, to get the inspection program
Yeah.
going and get,
Yeah, we thought it, yeah,
and then you've got the 200,000 would be for repairs that are needed after the
Yeah.
inspections, I think.
So is this in here? Hold on. That one. Is that just that?
No,
So
I
it's the
think that's-
inspections?
Yeah, I'm gonna find it, it's gotta be on there. I'm sure we put 200,000.
We did, I gotta find
We
it.
gotta find it too. It's in a weird spot.
Was
I
it
know
under,
there last year too. You
There's
put in
225 listed for, under the streets department for repairs and maintenance.
Well, maybe
Is
that's
that
what
it, maybe?
is.
Were you talking about?
So 101, 446, 930.
I thought it was under Department 850, other functions.
That's where the 20,000 is.
Oh, okay, these are just my notes from the budget meeting, sorry.
So that might be the inspection cost for it, or?
I don't know, I put that's where my notes had it too.
All right, let me look for that.
'Cause I knew it was 200, but I didn't know if that was where it was supposed to end up.
I like my whole folder in my desk, so I can't. Plus, they made you all new copies too, by the way, and I left them on my desk. I was in such a hurry to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm thinking that repairs and maintenance might be it.
That's because I don't know what we would be doing for
No.
repairs and maintenance on actual streets.
Yeah, we
I
got
mean,
225
they're
in
theoretically
that.
in the right of ways, so.
Right, I mean, it
that's
could
why
be-
you got them under streets.
All right,
Um,
I'll adjust that. We can
So-
adjust them and we'll send
Because
them
all
out.
other road improvements
Yeah.
have
I think
specific
that's it.
lines.
Yeah, I think that's where we put it.
Yeah.
No, that was it. So you're thinking repairs and maintenance under streets is supposed to be the sidewalks? That would,
Yeah.
that's.
I think that is,
225.
you know.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that as a note.
Nope, that's all I had.
Okay, anyone else have anything?
Anything else? Thanks, Chris.
We get all that stuff, we get all that stuff put in there. Okay, someone wants to make a motion to approve these budgets?
Sure, can we approve them all, just all it is one, that this is
Yes.
their budget?
2025 budget?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 budget as submitted with all funds included.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All righty.
I'll get those fixed up for you guys.
Yeah,
And
we'll get them all fixed.
Andy's here, so we'll do that tomorrow. We'll resend them out. And if you see anything, just tell us before the end of the day if you don't need it. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, does anyone else have anything they'd like to talk about, or we all good? All right, then I'm gonna consider this meeting adjourned. Thank you.